whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice in thee. In the cedars of Lebanon, no fellas come up against the glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together to beautify, and I will make the place of my feet glorious.
Because the Lord is going to restore everything. You're going to have a total different vibration on the earth, a total different smell. You're not going to be walking down the street and smell shit and piss, you know, and no foul odors or nothing like that, because the lungs of the earth are going to be given back to it, which is all these trees and all of these flowers, and it's going to be a whole total different vibration. You know, you're going to see the aura and how things are going to change and how elevated things are going to be. Our senses are going to be heightened, you know? Everything about us is going to be glorified.
For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. But be glad and rejoice forever in that which I create. For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem, and joy in my people. And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his days. The child shall die 100 years old. But the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be accursed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. They shall not build, and another inhabit. They shall not plant, and another eat. Whereas the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of the Lord, and their offspring with them. And it shall come to pass that before they call, I will answer, and while they are yet speaking, I will hear. The wolf and the lamb shall feed together, and the lion shall eat straw like the bullock, and dust shall be the serpent's meat. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, saith the Lord.
The Lord said that on the Heavenly Father's right hand there are pleasures evermore. And it says that I have not seen even another world of greatness that awaits us when the kingdom of heaven is established. It's not seen in this society. In this society, we only see carnal things that reason offers in this society. But when the kingdom is established, the Lord is going to open us up to a whole nother world, you know, of pleasure, of knowledge, of wisdom, understanding, you know, just, I mean, can't even be put into words, you know, because our imagination only goes but so far.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teaching in sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful leg, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. All right, and what I want to get into today, you know, going into a topic, you know, with the mindset of victory over everything and think like a winner, you know, think like a winner, you know, because we've been blessed, all right, with faith, you know, to believe in what's written, you know, and when you go into the scriptures, we're constantly reminded that we have the victory over everything, you know. And I just want to go through some precepts, you know, as an exhortation, you know, a faith booster, you know, for the body of Aratazai, you know, beginning with myself, okay? Because as we come into this time and we always speak about the calamities that we're in, you know, it's a lot going on, so we're constantly reporting, you know, what's happening in real time, all right, being a watchman, you know, and one of the things we have to remember in the midst of all this tribulation, okay, us being tried, you know, the persecution, okay, the devil, you know, going with his moves, where we have to remember, okay, that there's a victory over all this, man. Okay. So we'll start here with the book of First Corinthians 15 and 57. But thanks be to the Most High, which giveth us the victory, all right, through our Lord Yahweh Shah Hamashiach. Okay, so we already have a victory, man. Okay, and it was set up from the beginning, all right, for us to win. Okay, that's why you go to Genesis, you know, Jacob, you know, supplanted Esau with the blessing because it was set up for Jacob to win from the beginning. All right, it was set up for the sons of God, all right, to, you know, go off, okay, be in captivity, okay, and eventually come back to a victory through Yahweh Shai. Okay, that was always a play. So us getting a victory, you know, isn't some random thing, okay, that the Most High, you know, decided in the midst, you know, of us, you know, going through everything we've been through as a nation. No, it was always set up from the beginning. Okay. Now we're just seeing these things play out. All right. Matter of fact, let's get this real quick in the book of Jeremiah, man. And we gotta go into this time, all right, with a positive mindset, thinking like a winner, moving like a winner, making decisions like a winner, man. You see, we finna get everything. We finna get victory over everything that comes against us, man. Everything that comes against righteousness, man. Okay. So when you go to let's get this Jeremiah 29 and 11. It said, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, said the Lord Yahweh by Shema Shai, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." Okay, so the Lord has good plan for his elect, man. And there's a great chance that we could be a part of that number, man. You know, the thing now is just enduring, endurance, man. But the Lord is constantly showing us we on the right path, man. You know, we in the right spirit. Constantly pray to be in the right spirit, man. You know, to pray to be in order, a spiritual awareness, you know, constantly be appreciative of what we got. Because we all, you know, in a position, all right, to win. Okay? Because like I say, it's not even about having wants, okay? Because we're gonna have forever to get our wants, man. We have what we need to win. You see, and we should be extremely appreciative, man. But the Lord has thoughts towards us of peace, man, and not evil, an expected end. Okay, and those that have their mind on Yahweh by Shema Shai, all right, hey, we're a priority to Him going through these times. You know, Satan, you know, pushes doubt, you know, those mortal thoughts. What if this? And, you know, when my family gets separated, and if that, you gotta understand that He is. Okay, the Lord, He is. Death is a light thing to our power. Okay, being separated from our family or whatever, however it might turn out, you know, whatever scenario we can think of, we have to understand He is, man, and it's a light thing to our power. Okay, those weak, mortal thoughts. That's why you gotta put that off and think of a victory, man. Even in death, there's a victory. Esau can't separate the elect from the victory, man. No matter what circumstances we're finna find ourselves in. Okay, Esau can't separate us from the victory, man. And these are the things that we have to hold fast to. Okay, you see, the times to come, this judgment, because we right here in the midst of it, as we see these things happening, man. Okay, but we have to understand this is for the wicked, man. Beginning with Esau, all right, 2/3, like this is their judgment that the Lord is preparing in the earth, man. They finna lose, and that's part of us getting the victory over everything, man. We finna get victory over these Edomites from the elites, the Joe six pack. All right, 2/3, the nigga woman, and these children, man. Okay, we finna get victory over everything, these heathens. You see, we got a victory coming. This is a loss for these people, man. You know, we finna win. We gotta think like a winner. You see, We ain't come here, all right, and the Lord has us sacrificing our life for this, and, it go bad for us. Now, the Lord got us where He wants us to be for a victory, man. We just gotta believe in it, all right, and stay down. Okay. This Sirach 39:28 said there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore scropes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. And see, the Lord is pissed with this society, man. Okay? And our people are getting worse. 2/3 these niggas are getting worse. Okay? Esau, he's just off the chain. These heathens, they're conglomerating with Esau. The Lord finna pour out his wrath on them. And that's why we're constantly warned to stay here and not get caught up, okay, and entangled in what they got going on. Let the dead bury the dead. We living. We found life. We found victory, man, over death. Okay, by following Yahweh, man. And the Lord constantly showing us what He's expecting of us, man. And we're gonna tap into this lot, man. Okay, it says fire and hell and famine and death. All these were created for vengeance, teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction, man. So these people are finna be punished, man. The Lord got these evil times for these people. We're going to be tried. We're going to get uncomfortable, and we're going to be on the straight gate. But see, we have a promise of favor. Okay, in the midst of all this, man, the Lord's going to show His power. So we have to be put in dire situations for the Lord to show His power, because we got to be tried. We finna be tested to see if we really believe in His power, man. And that's why the Lord constantly has us being conditioned to trust Him more and more. To constantly trust Him more and more, for Him to put us in these dire straits. All right, so we can have a reaction of trusting, man. All right, these people, all right, they don't even know what victory is. Okay, they finna get ready to choose Satan, man, and lose. Okay, and these people are already prepped to choose Satan and lose, man. This is why the Lord's anger is going to be poured out on them. Okay, there's a great rebellion in the earth, man. And while these people are rebellion, we're proclaiming our allegiance to our power, man. And the Lord is going to honor that, man. And we just got to stay down, even in the face of death, man. Okay, I say, because we have victory even in death. Matter of fact, it's just we just roll through the spirit. Um, let's get this. So there's a reward even in dying. All right, for Yahweh. We went into this the other day. Okay, when you go to the book of Revelation chapter 2, I'm gonna jump down in there too. There's a book on Revelation 2:10. It says, "Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer." Man, that's another thing, man. What do we have to fear? If the Lord with us, what do we have to fear, man? The Lord ain't got us in no position to lose, man. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go through things, man, but the Lord there. We're not going through nothing, all right, without the heads of the Lord. Okay, without the Lord, all right, with us in whatever we go through. You know, no matter what it looked like, man, we got to believe the Lord there. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life, man. The Lord is always, reinforcing, a reward, okay, for us, being obedient even unto death. And Yahweh Shai, he was a perfect example of obedience unto death, man. He endured. He had the spirit to endure whatever he had to go through, man. Which he had, to go through the most suffering, because he has the greatest reward. Okay, Revelation 2:25 said, "But that which you already, all right, but that which ye already have, hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations." So all we have to do is hold fast to the faith and the victory, man. Because the main thing Satan is gonna want to make us doubt coming into these times is a victory, man. Because it's gonna seem like the devil just got so much going on. Okay, it's gonna seem like the devil's, making some type of progress, and You know, a lot of people gonna be, bending the knee, getting the C hip, man. You're gonna see, people going on with their lives with the C hip, man, and Satan gonna want to plague us like, see, this shit, like Esau can win. Okay, we have to, prepare our minds. Okay, pray for the spirit to have a strong mind, you know, to endure the things that we finna see and go through. We got to hold fast to the victory in the worst circumstances, man. Okay, and holding on to that mindset until Yahweh shot come. That's the overcoming, you know, to be willing to die. See, if we're already dead to this world, man, it shouldn't, it should be a layup. It should get to the point where, hey, it's a no brainer. Okay, you rather go back to the spiritual realm than to bend the knee to do what, man? To be plugged into a system, all right, that we hate already. Okay, to try to save our life in this world which we hate already. Nah, man. The Lord is grooming us to win, even all right, in the face of death, man. Even with death on the table, the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai is grooming us and conditioning us to win, to overcome. Okay. And it says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works until the end, finishing this thing out. And we have to have a mindset like a winner. We gotta think like a winner, like, nah, I done won. The fact that I'm not all right finna bend the knee, the fact that I don't care about my life, okay, in this situation, that's the victory. Okay, we won. All right, when Esau get to saying you're not gonna eat and this and that, nah, man, we have promises that said we are gonna eat. That said we are gonna be good. We got to lean on that, you know. And it says, and keep my works unto the end. To him will I give power over the nation, man. That's being joint heirs within the dominion of Yahweh, man. And we gotta go here. You see, let's get this in Isaiah 65. All right, because one of the big things you finna see now, we'll see how it play out. All right, Jake is finna, wild out about these groceries, man, because that's one of the that's going to be okay pivotal. A lot of people gonna bend the knee, under the threat that they're not going to be able to eat. Okay, but here it is. We have a promise. All right, ancient promise saying we're gonna be good. Isaiah 65:13. Therefore, thus said the Lord power. Behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Okay, so there's a promise that the servants of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah are gonna eat when people are starving, man. And we got to believe that. Okay, and this is without taking this devil seed hip that the Lord said we're gonna be good. Okay, and you're gonna have on the flip side, they're the only way they think they can eat is to comply. Okay, because they haven't been conditioned to have a victory over the beast. You see, and this is why we gotta take this grace period serious and be appreciative, because the Lord is grooming us for a victory, man. He's conditioning us, all right, with a mind to have a victory in this time, man. Okay, so we're constantly going over these things, man, and reading these things, and it's coming out, and the Lord is constantly showing us, getting these victories in every day. When you're how about Shema Al Shot, he keeps showing us, hey, I got you. Okay, so we're not going to be limited. See, a lot of people, they only limited to the reality that Esau pushes out. Okay, well, we see beyond, all right, the deception of Esau. Okay, the lies of the devil. We see beyond it. Okay, said, therefore, thus says the Lord, power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit, man. So how the Lord going to do it? all right, we can't tell you, but we know he is. It's written, it's promised. This is a guarantee. The Lord gonna make a way. This is a guarantee, man. And we have to think like a winner, man. We finna win. Because the flesh, get timid, about the times we're going into, man. But the spirit is hype. The spirit is overjoyed. Okay, and that's why we have to lean into the spirit, man. Be into the spirit. You see, be tapped into this. Okay, these people finna lose, man. But there's a victory for the elect. Okay, and it's short to come, because even let's go from there. Let's get this in second Ezra, and then we'll. So he goes to the book of Second Ezra, chapter. All right, 2. Okay, and around 27. You see, I'm just constantly going, through these scriptures, promising we're gonna be good. Okay, it said, "Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh." All right, would you see that day approaching, man? People are complaining more. The earth is more uncertain. Okay, the economy is less stable than it ever been. Okay, job market is trash. Okay, food prices are skyrocketing. Okay, and it's just people being pressed on every side, and it only gets worse. We haven't seen the full collapse, man. We're watching this controlled demolition. Okay, being done by the elites, and it's putting a squeeze in the earth, man. And it's only gonna get worse. It says, "Others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance," man. And you ask, like, how, you can sit and just think about how's the Lord gonna do this, you know. But see, we don't need to know the how. We just know He is. He's more than able. That this is light work. Okay, the heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, said the Lord, man. So we're going to be provided for and protected, man. Okay, we're going to be provided for and protected. Thus says Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, man. So we move forward, man. We have to think like a winner, like we finna win. There's a remnant that's going to win. And see, we want to see righteousness, okay, in the earth, man. We rather see the earth reign in righteousness, man. This ain't no personal thing to where we just want to come up and no, this is a thing of seeing righteousness established in the earth, man. It's bigger than us. Okay? The Lord has matured us of childish thoughts. Okay, to now we understand though the earth needs righteous rulership, man. Yahweh Shai needs to establish a throne of David in the earth immediately, man. And these are the times that he's finna do it. Okay? We in the midst of transitional power, man. Okay? So the Lord, all right, he's gonna be good to his elect, man. Because we witnessed the Lord's anger. Okay, now we're finna witness, all right, the Lord's favor. Okay, we seen the disobedience, all right, leads to an L. Now we're getting ready to see what obedience, okay, leads to, man. Faith in our power in the worst circumstances, man. And this is another thing. This is a time for us to show our faith, which the Most High is pleased with what? With faith. Okay? Hebrews, let's get that real quick. Hebrews 11. So we just rolling in the spirit. Hebrews 11. Okay. All right. Hebrews 11 and 6 said, "But without faith, it is impossible to please Him." So in order to show faith, the Lord has to put us in position to where, we have to show faith. So and in order to be pleasing to our power, we have to be put in circumstances to where we show faith. And the Lord is doing it now. The Lord is putting us in a situation where we have to show faith, and He comes through because that faith is pleasing to Him, man. It said, "For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him, man." And that's why this grace period, this is about us, seeking our power, man. Getting back in good standards with our power, man. This is what this grace period is for, man. You know, and I said we have all the resources needed to get in good standards with our power within this grace period, man. Diligently seeking Him, man. Seeking what's pleasing to our power. This is what we should be occupied in, man. And when we're doing these things, it puts a spirit. Hey, we have no choice but to think like a winner, man. We're finna win. The Lord is showing that what we're doing is pleasing unto Him by causing more prophecy to happen. By constantly giving us a peace of mind, giving us, comfort. Okay, through faith, man, through the scriptures. You see, so we're gonna keep doubling down in what we know pleasing to our power. Cause see, if we please Yahweh by Shema Shai, that's all we need. You see, these niggas gotta try to prep. You got people want to get tactical. People want to try to plan for every scenario, and got this going on, that going on. If we pleasing to our power, that's all we need. Genesis 15:1, it says, after these things, the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, came unto Abram in a vision, saying, fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. This is all we need. If we're pleasing to Yahweh Shema Shai, this is all we need. Okay, we don't need one bullet. We don't need one can of beans. You don't need none of those things. We don't need gold, silver. If we're pleasing to our power, He said, this is He's our shield, which our defense, and our exceeding great reward. Which He's going to give us everything, man. He's going to defend us, all right, in this tribulation, and then reward us with everything, man. It says exceeding. The reward is it's gonna be exceeding. All right, which means it goes beyond what can be measured. You see? So now, man, we're gonna put emphasis on being pleasing to our power, man, as we getting ready to go, through the straight gate. All right, hey, but we going in this thing with momentum, with a mind like a winner. We're gonna think like a winner, man. Okay. You see, we taking loss in this world. Now it's time for righteousness to win. That's just the point that we at. It's time for righteousness to win, man. God damn. Wickedness has done too much, man. Okay, these niggas have had all this leeway, all right, to be absolutely wicked, demonic, anti-Messiah. Okay, these niggas finna lose. Okay, and the elect is finna win. All right, and there's a great chance we could be a part of that number, man. Now it's about enduring. Okay. It says, and I saw another sign, Revelation 15:1. It said, I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of the Most High. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast and over his image and over his mark and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass having harps, all right, having the harps of the Most High. Okay, so this is John the Revelator seeing the elect have the victory. He's the elect are in those chariots while the America is on fire, man. And that's very thing, man. Esau's rulership is going to be ended. No more 2/3. They're going to be depleted, okay, deleted, okay, annihilated. All right, no more nigger culture, no more alphabet, okay, society, community, none of that, man. Okay, no democracy, Republican, technocracy, all that is going to be eradicated, man. We're going to be the chariots looking at the destruction of it, man. Amaratazah, with the rest of the elect, and that's the scene of the movie we're fighting to get to, man. Okay, verse 3 it says, and they sing the song of the servant, and they sing the song of Moses, the servant of the Most High, and the song of the Lamb, saying, great and marvelous are thy works, Lord power almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. Okay, and that's going to be Yahweh Shai, all right, judging the earth in righteousness, man. And we're going to praise and celebrate, all right, their victory, man. So that was the point Just wanted to get into that. Lord will, you brothers. All right, and you sisters edified once again. Want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.